channel. Today we'll be doing a Blood Angels Blade Codex review. We'll be talking about some of the formations, we'll be talking about some of the new models, and I am going to give you my new 1850 Blood Angels list. So in any new codex, you're going to have all of the fluff, all of the stories, all of the pictures, all of that kind of stuff. But what we want to do first is get to the new models. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the Terminator Captain. He has a points total of 135 points. Comes with Terminator armor, Stormbolter, Thunderhammer, and an Iron Halo, which is a 4-up involve save. Special rules are Furious Charge, which is normal for all Blood Angels, and they show no fear, independent character, normal for an HQ. But what I want to show you is the points cost, 135. Now, if we go back over here to a regular captain, which is base 90 points, and you look at the war gear that he has: bolt pistol, power armor, chainsword, Iron Halo, the normal things for 90 points. The new Terminator Captain, with a point cost of 135, comes with a Thunderhammer and an Iron Halo and Terminator armor. If you were to add that to this captain, so here, let's look over here. Alright. So we know if you replace the regular armor, bolt pistol, and chainsword for Terminator armor and a Stormbolter and a power weapon, that costs 30 points. So you're at 120. Then take into account the fact that he has a Thunderhammer instead, you add another 30 points to that. So here, 135. Over there, it will be 150 points. So you're saving points if you wanted to upgrade that captain to a Terminator captain in the old book. So that's the first thing that's different here with the captain. The next model we're going to look at is the Death Company Chaplain for 125 points. I'm not going to go over the baseline stats just yet. I want to go over the war gear we have here. So Infernus Pistol, Crozius, which is the power maul, jump pack. You have the grenades and a Rosarius, which is another 4-up invul, and then he comes with Zealot. Also comes with Rites of Blood, basically giving him a chance, him and all Death Company Marines in his unit, the chance to re-roll all failed to wound rolls in the fight sub-phase. So basically, if you have a Death Company Chaplain with a unit of Death Company, he already has Zealot, so that means that they're going to reroll to hit if they fail. Now, with Rites of Blood, if they reroll to hit, they can also reroll to wound on a turn in which he charged with them. Now, what I want to do is go back to 125 points, okay? On a normal Chaplain, from the old book, you can get him for 90 points. And he pretty much has all of the same special rules. You got Furious Charge, independent character, Zealot. The only thing that's different is his war gear. Now, they both have power armor, but instead of this bolt pistol, you get an Infernus Pistol with the Death Company Chaplain. And you also get a jump pack. So you add, what, 30 points, 15 points for the jump pack, and 15 points for the Infernus Pistol. You're at 120. So the question is it worth it to save 5 points, lose those special weapons, and lose the special ability Rites of Blood for just 5 points? I think you have a better deal here going with the Death Company Chaplain if you're looking for a Chaplain as an HQ. The next unit we're going to look at are the Assault Squad for 70 points. pretty much a basic assault squad. The one thing that I want to take into consideration here is the point cost. You can take one Marine, assault squad Marine, for 14 points and add 3 points per model in that squad for jump packs, which is the 17 point total that it was in the previous book. But you have to take into consideration now that instead you may select a drop pod or a Rhino as dedicated transport, but you have to pay for it. In the previous book, you would get a Rhino or a drop pod for free if you got rid of your jump packs, and that's just not the case here. And you have the option to take an Eviscerator, which is basically a strength times 2 melee weapon, and it's just a huge chainsaw, which looks pretty cool. Let's go back over here to the old model. Again, 85 points, but they come with jump packs, so you don't have to worry about paying that. The only difference is you get to choose if you want jump packs or not on the new guys, and if you didn't, you would have to pay for that transport, and you can take any of this already. The last unit we're going to talk about today is the Devastator Squad. The one thing that you need to know about the Devastator Squads is that finally, we can take grav cannons right here. Grav cannons and grav amp, 35 points per model. So yeah, Blood Angels get grav. It's pretty dope. We couldn't get it before. That sucked. So boom, boom, boom. Go grav cannons. We have a battle demi company. And again, if you want to read these out, you can. But just pause the video if you want to read it. So basically with the Battle Demi Company, you get the basic stuff. You get Red Thirst and you get the Angel's Virtue. The Angel's Virtue means you get to reroll the Warlord trait. That's easy. The Red Thirst is basically that in a model that charges into combat gets +1 to their initiative. So if you are initiative 4 and you charge, well, you get to strike at initiative 5. I don't think that's anything special, especially with the fact of some of the things you have to bring. If you bring those on a regular basis, then cool, but the Red Thirst and Angel's Virtue don't seem like great benefits. Alright, next is the Archangel's Orbital Intervention Force. This is pretty cool. So again, you guys can read this on your own, but it's basically 3 termination. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the swift deployment. So basically, when you roll, you make a single roll. If you roll and they all come on at the same time using Deep Strike. The next one, which is far more cool, is the Orbital Intervention. This basically says that the Terminator squads can shoot twice when they come in from Deep Strike. That's pretty cool. Now, even cooler is the Terminator assault squads in the formation. They can, instead of shooting twice, they can charge a unit of, let's say, 10 assault Terminators coming in. What do you got? You got Thunderhammer Storm Shields, you got Lightning Claws. Even if they come in with their Power Fist, that is a lot of damage. It's actually worth taking Terminators now because you get better benefit. The next formation we're going to go over is the Archangel's Demi Company. Now, with this one, I'm going to go over here so you can see it. But with this one, you have Terminator Captain, 2 Furios for Dreadnoughts, and then a combination of Terminators, Assault Terminators, Stern Guard Veterans, and Vanguard Veterans. This isn't too bad of a formation. I'm going to go over the special rules here. The first one is Elite Strike Force, which means that you can elect to roll for reserves on turn 1. The next is Storm of Angels, which means that you can re-roll that reserve roll for the entire formation for the models that have the deep formation arriving from Deep Strike Reserve scatter D6 less. So you just use 1 die instead of 2. And lastly, you have the Angel's Virtue. I think that this is pretty cool if you use highly elite models already. But I can see this formation getting very expensive very quickly. Not to mention, it's cool that you can bring them in on turn 1 and get them in position, but you're also kind of leaving them there to face the brunt of a force on that turn. So, alright, the next formation is the 10th Company Ambush Force, and it's basically 3 to 5 units of scouts or scout bikes. The only restriction here is that you must equip them, the bike squad, with cluster mines. No big deal. Some of the special rules here: each unit from this formation that deploys using the infiltrate special rule and does not have stealth special rule is concealed. A concealed unit has the stealth special rule until it moves, runs, turbo boosts, charges, or falls back, at which point it immediately loses the stealth special rule for the rest of the battle. So you set a unit down and they have stealth. If they move, they don't have it. A couple units with the cloaks that are going to have 2-up cover saves pretty much no matter what, unless obviously you have something that removes cover. But that's pretty cool if you have a unit just sitting on an objective. But again, if that's not your style of play, I wouldn't worry too much about it. The second special rule is the trap is sprung. During the first game turn, all units of this formation have precision shots. This would be cool if you just gotta kind of think it out. I'm sure there's a way that you can maneuver an army list with this in mind, especially if you like scouts, which are cheap. Next, we have the Death Company Strike Force. It consists of 1 Death Company Chaplain, 3 Death Company Squads, 1 to 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts, and the only restriction is not really a restriction, but the Death Company Squad can take a Storm Raven gunship as dedicated transport, which is pretty cool. Also, the special rule here is all models in the Death Company Squad from this formation and all Death Company Dreadnoughts from this formation add 1 to their attack characteristics whilst they are within 12 inches of the formation's Death Company Chaplain. But to give a Death Company Dreadnought an extra attack, you're probably going to have ×2 strand with blood talons on them. That's pretty good. Not to mention they all have rage, and if you give them a power weapon or something, that would be, if you like Death Company, definitely a good choice for you. The next formation we're going to talk about is the Golden Host. Basically, what you have is either Dante or the Sanguinar and 2 to 5 units of Sanguinary Guard attacking in this formation. There's 2 rules here. The first rule is Airborne Assault. What it does is it gives you the opportunity to decide which turn you want your Sanguinary Guard to come in from reserve. So you can decide on the 2nd turn, the 3rd turn, 4th turn, whatever turn best benefits your army, but only from the 2nd turn on. Not only that, for Airborne Assault, you can re-roll the scatter dice when the units from this formation arrive from Deep Strike Reserve, just in case you're not as close or as far as you want to be from another unit, or if you have a Deep Strike mishap, that would be a good thing. The next special rule is Glory of Sanguinius. This says that units in this formation can charge on the turn they arrive from the strike reserve, but always count as making a disordered charge when they do so. So not only do you get to choose what turn you come in, and not only do you get to reroll the scatter die if you want to get closer or further away from your enemy, you may also charge on the turn you arrive from Deep Strike Reserve, which is pretty cool. The only issue I have with the Golden Host and the Sanguinary Guard in general is that they are so expensive. If you want to add an Infernus pistol, or if you want to add more than 5, the price of this formation per unit is going to be very, very expensive. They do have 2-up saves, they do have jump packs, and they do have Encarmine weapons, which provide AP. It's just a very expensive unit. So in my opinion, it's a great formation. If you have the points for it, that's awesome. But this book did not update the points cost for Sanguinary Guard, so I will keep that in mind. The next formation is called Chapter Ancients. The formation includes 3 to 5 units of dreadnoughts, but they're only librarian dreadnoughts, normal dreadnoughts, and Furioso dreadnoughts. The special rule here is called Well-Timed Blow. Once per battle, at the start of any Blood Angels turn, you can decide to do something different instead of moving in the movement phase. Those options include shooting as if you were in the shooting phase, and piling in to fight as if it was the fight sub phase. And you can do this once per battle, but if you have, let's say you have 3 dreadnoughts, each of the 3 can do something different. You can have your Furioso shoot, you can have your dreadnought shoot, but you can have your librarian pile into a combat that it's already participating in, which is pretty cool. If you like dreadnoughts, I would suggest this. Next formation is the Storm Raven Squadron. Now, this is a pretty simple formation. You can just take 2 to 4 Storm Raven gunships. The cool thing is this rule right here, Annihilation Strike. So basically, once per battle, at the start of any of your turns, you pick an enemy from anywhere on the field, and then when you do so and you have line of sight on that enemy, you must fire all of your remaining Storm Strike missiles at it. Now, you're doing this attack as if it was being conducted in the shooting phase, and no other attacks can be made except for that Storm Raven shooting those missiles. Afterwards, you can still shoot again in the upcoming shooting phase of that same turn with the weapons that you have remaining. So from reserves, they can launch at least 8 missiles at whatever target they have a line of sight on. The issue is that they can only launch those missiles at that one. Maybe you want to launch all 8 missiles at it, soften it up, so that when you get closer to it, you can maybe use a last cannon or a multi-melter to knock it off. So I like this formation. It's pretty simple, just 2 Storm Ravens and a bunch of missiles. The last formation we're going to go over is the Lucifer Armored Task Force. I also think this is a really, really good formation. It consists of 1 Tech Marine, 3 to 5 of a combination of Bell Predator and Normal Predator, and 1 to 3 Land Raider combinations, which is the Crusader, Redeemer, and the normal Land Raider. Now, as we look at the special rules, the first one is very simple: Scout. Well, we all know what Scout does. You get to move up and redeploy a certain amount. Now, the next rule is First Into Battle. Now, First Into Battle says that all Predators and Land Raiders in this formation have overcharged engines, which makes them the fast unit type. Land Raiders are only allowed to go 6 inches. If you make them fast, they get to go 12 inches, which means that Land Raiders and Predators can get up the field faster, and if they have people inside of them, they can charge sooner. I think that's pretty cool. Not to mention, they get scout. So they scout up, they move 12, and then they wreak havoc a turn, they stay alive another turn, and then they drop off whatever units they have inside. I think that's cool. Bell Predators are already fast, but who wouldn't want assault cannons on their, mid-line of the field, just dropping units without having to get too far into the fight, just setting up that perimeter. And we all know that Bell Predators have 13 front, 12 side, and 10 rear, so that's extra armor that you have to get through if you want to take them out. Again, I think it's a really good formation, especially if you got some troops inside of those Land Raiders. Here what we have is a list of special rules for the armor in the Blood Angels arsenal. So if you take 3 of any of these units, Vindicator, Whirlwind, Land Speeder, Predator, Bell Predator, you get a special rule. We're going to try to keep this short and sweet, but the Vindicator, if you have 3, you can choose to instead shoot 1 apocalyptic blast that gains ignores cover, instead of shooting 3 single demolisher cannon shots. You get 1 apocalyptic blast that gains ignores cover, which is pretty cool. The Whirlwind, if you have 3 of these, each model's Whirlwind has pinning and shred, regardless of what type of missile it fires. So that's called suppressive bombardment. You basically get pinning and shred when you fire on each of the models. On the Land Speeders, you have anti-grav upwash. This means that if the unit contains 3 Land Speeders, it can move an additional 6 inches when moving flat out, which is pretty cool. Alright, if a Predator has 3 models in the squadron, it has what we call kill shot. That means each of the Predators has Monster Hunter and Tank Hunter special rules. And lastly, Bell Predator. If you have 3 Bell Predators, then each of the Bell Predators can reroll all to wound rolls of 1 when shooting their weapons. So I'm not going to go over all of these, but what I will say is the Blood Angels have now the opportunity to use more than just the sanguineous discipline as psychic abilities. They have the Librarius, Technomancy, Fulmination, and Geokinesis disciplines as well to use. So take that into consideration when you have your Librarian Dreadnought or any other Librarian that you want to use in your armies. You have more options, and if you know these already, feel free to use them in your next army list. We're going to quickly go over the Angels Blade Strike Force. Basically, you have all of, or most of, the formations we went over earlier, and with the icons here you can tell which ones are command, which ones are core, and which ones are auxiliary. Angels Blade Strike Force, you have a couple of rules. The first rule is the Angel's Virtue, which just means, hey, you get to reroll your Warlord trait. The next one is the Red Thirst, which is, hey, if you charge into combat, you get +1 to your initiative. And the last one is called the Sons of Sanguinius. Any unit from this detachment that is reduced to half its starting number of models, rounding fractions down, immediately gain Zealot special rule. For example, a unit that started the battle with 5 models will receive Zealot rule once it has been reduced to 1 or 2 models. One core choice, which is the Battle Demi Company or the Archangels Demi Company. Now, if you use these models already, hey, go ahead, pick yourself a auxiliary choice, which is one of these over here, with is the best benefit you have to this strike force, and you know, you can probably get something better. So in my opinion, Angel's Blade Strike Force, it's not bad, but the benefits just aren't as good as they should be. And not to mention, you're already getting Red Thirst and Angel's Virtue from just having a Demi Company or an Archangel's Demi Company by itself. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Lost Brotherhood Strike Force. Now, this one is pretty much the same, but the formations are a little bit different. On this Lost Brotherhood Strike Force, you need one command choice and at least one core choice to get the command benefits. The command benefits, the first two are the same, which is the Angel's Virtue, where you reroll your Warlord trait, the Red Thirst, where you get +1 initiative. If you are charging, but the last one is interesting. It says, unleashed upon the foe. Immediately after setting up a unit from this detachment during deployment, you can move the unit 6 inches as if they were making a move in the movement phase, but the unit cannot run. Units that arrive from reserve do not receive. What you need is one command choice and one core choice. There's only one core choice, and that core choice is the Death Company Strike Force. So if you ever wanted to build an army of mostly Death Company, this is the time to do it. Just imagine you get that 6-inch move and you have jump packs on your Death Company. Your Death Company chaplain already has a jump pack, and he already gives some special abilities. To add Red Thirst would be awesome. The command choices here are, let's see, Astaroth, Lamartis, and Death Company Chaplain. So hey, you take 2 Death Company Chaplains, you take Astaroth and a Death Company Chaplain, and just the Death Company Strike Force, and you're all good. Not to mention, if you wanted to add another formation to that, just to, you know, kind of flesh out your strike force, I think that would be pretty cool. Alright, since we brought up the Lost Brotherhood Strike Force, let's go ahead and look at some of the Warlord traits specifically for them. Alright, Warlord trait 1. Once per game, as your Warlord, if your Warlord is still alive, you may re-roll a single dice. This could be a reserve roll, a to-hit roll, a saving roll, leadership test, etc. Which is kind of cool. Alright. Second one. Your Warlord and all friendly Death Company squads within 12 inches of him, when they declare a charge, have the fleet special rule. So you get to re-roll the charge. You can roll 1 dice or both dice, but you have to choose before you roll. Next, the third one is your Warlord and any unit he joins have the Rampage special rule. That's not too bad. Probably would rather have something else. Number 4, your Warlord has the Feel No Pain special rule. If your Warlord already has the Feel No Pain special rule, add 1 to any Feel No Pain rolls you make for him instead. So instead of having a 5-up Feel No Pain like everyone else, your Warlord will have a 4-up Feel No Pain. Number 5, your Warlord has the Rage special rule. If your Warlord isn't already a Death Company Chaplain, then great. The extra attack on the charge would be good. If he already has Rage, you just kind of bite the bullet on that one. Last but not least, number 6, your Warlord and all friendly Death Company squads within 12 inches of him have Hatred, Chaos Demons, Chaos Space Marines. Yeah, if you're fighting Chaos, that's nice. If not, And let's pretty much on to the relics of the lost. The first one is armor. For 30 points, you get a 2-up armor save, and you also get adamantium will and crusader special rule. The next one is a melee weapon. It's user strength, AP 2, armor bane, mastercrafted, two-handed for 30 points. The next one is an item. It's called a blood shard, which basically gives the bearer counterattack. Over here, we have a pistol, strength X, AP 6, and its strength doesn't matter because it has 4 poison. And it's a template weapon, which is pretty cool. Alright, the next one is also a pistol, a melter pistol, 12-inch range, strength 8, AP 1, mastercrafted for 25 points. And last but not least, we have a melee weapon. It's +2 strength, AP 3, concussive, and mastercrafted for 25 points. We're going to go with the Lost Brotherhood Strike Force. I'm sorry, this is way too cool not to do. Me personally, I've always wanted a all Death Company army. So guess what? I'm gonna do it. So what we have? First, we need a Death Company chaplain. We have 3 Death Company squads. So what I think I'm gonna do is we're gonna take 2 10-man squads of Death Company on foot. We have 5 that are going to be bolters, and 2 that are going to be normal chainsword pistols. Another 2 are going to be power sword pistols, and 1 is going to be power sword Infernus pistol. It's going to be 2 units of that, and obviously these will be painted sooner than later. The third Death Company squad is going to be 15 Death Company, with 12 are going to be basic. They're either going to have chainsword pistols or bolt gun, but the 3 in the front are going to be a power fist, and the other 2 are going to be hand flamers and chain swords. Alright, now to add to the Death Company Strike Force, you have to take 1 to 3 Death Company dreadnoughts. Obviously, they still need some work, but I'm going to take 2 Death Company dreadnoughts. Each is going to have a flamer and a melter and blood talons. Now, to finish off this army, I am going to not only take an additional chaplain. I don't have another Death Company chaplain yet, so this guy's going to suffice till I can put a jump pack on him. So he's going to be my command option, and then I'm going to take the Stormbringer one instead of the other one I have because it's all black, and I'm going with the Death Company army. So there we go. These guys are going to be my Storm Raven squadron because I just can't wait to come onto the field and launch 8 Blood Strike missiles. You have to take into consideration that these guys, 15 man strong, they're not going away easily. Not sure where I want to put these 2 units of 10, but with their power swords and Infernus pistols, they definitely want to get in combat. The 2 dreadnoughts will probably come in with the Storm Ravens. If they do come in, they may also carry these Death Company. And last but not least, the chaplain will probably join this jump pack. It's all painted and looking nice. We'll do a bat rep, see how well they fare on the field. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to look in the description below for links to our website, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Thanks for watching Champions Hall. Play to win.